Hello everyone, hope you're having a glorious day. As a psychiatrist, I've learned a great deal about isolation. See, for the first 10 years of my career, I worked for the California Department of Correction and Rehabilitation. This is the California prison system. And I got to work with people in solitary confinement, which is called administrative segregation. This is where people are isolated and learned many lessons about it. For the second 10 years of my career, I worked in a very high-end concierge neuroimaging clinic where we saw celebrities and billionaires, important people, and they were isolated in a different way. And I want to share with you what I've learned. But first, I want to talk about stress because I'm seeing a lot more stress. So the stress system of the brain starts in the hypothalamus and pituitary gland. And it secretes these hormones which ultimately end up influencing the adrenal gland, which sits on top of our kidneys. And it secretes cortisol. Cortisol comes from the outside layer of this adrenal gland, and that is sent into the bloodstream. Now, what's important about that is cortisol impairs your immune system, and with a virus going around and the syndrome of COVID-19, we want our immune systems to be healthy. So I want to talk about the antidote. Now, first, what is stress? There's many definitions of stress. So stress can be tasks greater than the amount of time, too many tasks in the allotted time. And this is coming in our office in terms of information overload. People are getting inundated by checking the news every second. The other definition of stress would be deprived needs, deprivation of vital needs, things like sleep or food. The lack of resources. So people are losing their jobs, they're getting reduced hours, and this has impact on money. It also has impact on their community because they're no longer connected to their co-workers, their work family. And so we also have decreased supplies like toilet paper. Now, stress can also be a perceived loss of control. With this coming pandemic, many people feel like there's nothing they can do, but that is not true. In fact, just simply exercising for 30 minutes every single day will make a big difference in 2 weeks and a maximal effect at 4 weeks, so that you can have a better outcome if you do get infected with the virus. Now, there is a natural antidote to the stress hormone cortisol. It's called oxytocin, and it's also produced in the pituitary gland from a stimulation of the hypothalamus. So what does oxytocin do? It makes us feel connected, confident, courageous. Courage is very important in times of calamity. There's heroism that is needed in the community. It also makes us feel friendly. It is the anti-stress hormone, as we mentioned. It makes us feel happy. How does this work in the brain? Well, it causes the front of the brain to notice, seek, remember, and return. And it also stimulates our pleasure center, and it lowers our anxiety center. Now, here's more than 10 ways that we can increase our oxytocin. And women are at a natural advantage in this. See, the largest dose of oxytocin that you can experience as a human is a woman at childbirth. The second largest is a woman breastfeeding. And the third largest is, well, let's say practicing to have children. But there are other ways that everyone can build oxytocin in their brain. For instance, sincere listening, putting away your personal electronic device and really connecting with someone. You can also practice empathy. So putting yourself in their shoes, thinking about how someone might have it worse, thinking about immunocompromised or someone with a lung transplant or cystic fibrosis or the elderly, what they might need to get through this and how you might help them. You can also hug someone. It might be an air hug with social distancing. You can say, "I love you." This increases your oxytocin level. Praying with others increases oxytocin. Petting a dog, massage, soothing music, dancing, and laughing. Giving and receiving gifts. In fact, giving gifts gives you a and becoming trustworthy, so following through with what you say, showing up, making sure that people know you are trustworthy. Doing something adventurous together with other people, increase your oxytocin. In a landmark study, Dartmouth Medical School gathered 33 neuroscientists in 2013 to address rising rates of mental illness, behavioral problems, and emotional distress among U.S. children and teens. And what did they find? The consensus paper they titled was that we were hardwired to connect. The new scientific case for authoritative community. So these findings are that humans were wired for relationships, that our brain is shaped by the nurturing relationships that we have, and these nurturing relationships can even neutralize genetic propensities for things like depression. And during adolescence, we especially need this nurturing. Now, most significantly, most surprisingly, they found that humans seek moral and spiritual meaning, that we need relationships to develop these moral and spiritual, meaningful interactions. And finally, that a spiritual connection to the transcendent improves our physical and emotional health. This is quite incredible, that we can connect to God, the transcendent, and our biology, our brain is hardwired to improve, have better physical and emotional health when we do this. I have asked many patients how they experience God, and they have given me some of these examples. What are your examples of experiencing God and connecting with your community, with your tribe? Thank you for listening.